Olá, bom dia, Munson here from Expats Portugal with the Good Morning Portugal show. Olá, bom dia, alegria to you. A few people with us already. Jim White's in, Stephen Wells is in, and Mike Campion too. We've got a busy morning for you on this, the Consumer Tuesday, which will finish, I hope, with me consuming figs fresh from the garden and plums and a physalis as well. What have you got growing in your garden? Do let us know, and maybe we can eat them together towards the end of the show. But he's a busy man, but he's taken some time out to be with us this morning. It's Manuel Reyes, everybody, of Tua Saúde.
Hi, good morning. Bon
dia,
everyone.
Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine, you?
Very good, very good. I'm looking forward to eating this juicy. What a great time of year this is, Manuel, in Portugal. All the fruit.
Yeah, I have a lot of plums in here too. I'm eating a lot of plums.
You've got to find different ways of eating them. Yes, absolutely. And until you're sick of them, and then we look forward again till next year.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely bumper crop this year. Manuel, of course, is from Tua Saúde. This is Consumer Tuesday, when we tend to talk about money, business, consumer matters. And a lovely serendipitous moment happened yesterday. Tatiana, Manuel's colleague at Tua Saúde, came into my world whilst I was minding my own business at the Vasco da Gama Centre in Lisboa, talking about a couple of vacancies that you want to fill at the company. But before we go there, because these are a lovely couple of job offers, what is it you do as a service here at Tua Saúde, Manuel?
So first off, I want to apologize for my English because it's been a really long time since I've been out of Portugal because of the pandemic. So my English is a little bit rusty, but I'm trying to express the way that I can. Okay. So
your English is fantastic. No worries there.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about Tua Saúde because it's an incredible project that I've been able to work with for around 8 to 9 years now. And what is Tua Saúde? Tua Saúde was created in 2007 by Tatiana and Adriano. They are our founders, and it with one prime objective. It was to empower everyone to take action about their own health. So that's why we try to use easy to understand language, and that's why we only have healthcare professionals in our producer team. That's one way we can guarantee that our content will be scientifically proven and will have good foundation. But the other hard thing to do is try and do those things and try to explain to people everything they want to know in a simple way, without any medical language that sometimes gets everything more difficult to understand. So we started working with the Portuguese population, not here in Portugal, but in Brazil. There were our first population we worked with. And since then, we've also started creating content for major social media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram. We try to be where everyone is. We're not there because it's something that is famous, so it will make us famous to be there, but it's where everyone is. And we try to bring our message and our content to where people are. So we started in Portuguese, and since then we also started a internationalization project because we wanted to bring our articles, our content to other parts of the globe. We started with the Spanish version with a couple of Venezuelan and Mexican healthcare professionals. And since then, we started an English version too. That is our newest baby. And then we want to start the French version as well. To do that, we have some vacancies available that are not being too easy to fill because we have some criteria that is a little bit hard to find.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have like 3 or 4 criteria that we need that are it's very complicated to find. We need someone that is native from an English or a French speaking country, but we also need someone that is a healthcare professional because we need that person to understand what they are writing about. And we also need someone that understands Portuguese, which is not something that is completely easy right now to find. And then we need someone to work with us personally. Right now we are working at home, so this is my bedroom because of the pandemic. But we hope that in the near future we can work in our office again near Porto, in Gaia, Vila Nova de Gaia. So those are 4 criteria that are not too easy to find.
Well, I think you've come to a good place, maybe, to find those. Yeah, I mean, when I was talking on WhatsApp to Tatiana about this, I'd love to help here because I really love what you do. And this is about, I mean, you are health influencers, aren't you? The way you've put it there, you're all over social media. I think you work closely with Google. And you're helping people to take responsibility for their health. And that's something, and we have a great community here. And a lot of people say here, you know, where are the messages in the pandemic about boosting your immune system, taking responsibility for your health, rather than just being a sort of passive consumer of all the government/pharmaceutical interventions? And I'm not criticizing those. I mean, they're a part of the picture. But what seems to be missing often is people stepping in themselves and saying, oh, well, what can I do for myself? And that's exactly what TuaSaúde does, right? You can go on there and research what you need to research, find out what you want to find out, and put it into practice in your own life. And I understand with the pandemic, people have been searching what are the symptoms of COVID-19, and that's brought a lot of traffic your way, right?
Yeah, they certainly do search for the COVID symptoms, the COVID treatments. What type of remedies can I use to protect myself and to get better if I have COVID? Also, what I can do to boost my immunity. And we have all that content available in Portuguese. And now we're trying to bring that to other languages because that is not something that is available everywhere, especially in English or in French. And we have it in Portuguese. But it's not something that everyone can understand if they're not Portuguese or Brazilian or from a Portuguese-speaking country. So that's why we are trying to now translate our content. Not just translate; it's something that we always try to say. It's we're not only translating content; we are translating and localizing content because there are some things that I can say in Portuguese or to the Brazilian public that I cannot say or that are not easy to understand by other publics. For example, one easy one is coconut water. I can say to a Brazilian person to drink coconut water if they are ill and with a high risk of dehydration, but I cannot say someone from the UK, just go ahead and drink some coconut water because they will not find natural coconut water. They'll find a version of coconut water that you can buy at the market, but it's not the same thing. So we try to find what is normal for that culture, what is normal for that country to have, and try to adapt our content that is already made to that other reality that is the English version or the French version of our website.
That's tremendous.
So
that's tremendous. And a happy customer
that's why
here.
we need that type of people with that type of criteria.
Sure. Well, let's see if we can help you find them. So we'll reiterate that before you go. I know you've got to go soon and get on with helping people to be well. But congratulations, you managed to get the message across so well, and at the same time encourage you in a way where the person feels like taking care of themselves and without any fear. So much fear about it at the moment, isn't there, in terms of our health? Congratulations one more time, says one happy customer, Camilla there. So, and how does it work? I mean, people in the community here, and we'll say hello to you folks in just a moment. But how do people get involved? Do you have to pay? Is it a subscription model?
So you can reach our content completely free. We don't have any subscription model. It's everything completely free. You can find all content in our website, in our social media, completely free without subscription. We currently do not have the English version of YouTube. We only have the Portuguese version and the Spanish version, but we will gladly try to create the English version once we get the website to go as far as we want it to go.
Yes. Well, that's fantastic. And that's a really good way for this community here. Let's say hello to a few people, see if there's any questions for you before you pop off.
Sure.
Yeah, if you want to learn your Portuguese, obviously go to the YouTube channel of TuaSaúde, and you can learn Portuguese whilst making yourself feel better and well and boosting your well-being. Bom dia, alegria de Maastricht. Maggie and Mike saying hi and signing in for their Portugal fix this morning. Looking forward to working with you more closely. Casa Campeón. Greetings from São Rafael in the Algarve, where the sun shines and living in paradise begins. He likes the Algarve, in case you didn't know. Stephen here, of course, and Jim, good morning to you, gentlemen, as well as Lee McGrady, good morning, people. Elra's here as well from Finland. Good morning, everyone. Gary Austin, bon dia, alegria, meus amigos. The Portuguese gets better every day. Well done, everybody. And somebody responding to you, Manuel, here about your English. Your English is better than my Portuguese, says Jacqueline CDM, who's here
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Victoria, hola, bon dia, alegria a todos. Bon dia a todos from Jacqueline CDM as well. Gemini Bradshaw, good morning, everyone. Joel is here, not far from you in Matosinhos. Your office is in a great place.
Yeah, it's very near.
If somebody wants to join the company, that's a great move to go to Porto there. And Andrew Gilchrist is here as well this morning. They're all saying hello to each other. That's fantastic. Ivermectin, I don't know if you want to. Iver, really good product that Manuel could use. Gary Austin is very keen on ivermectin and its role in COVID-19 treatment there and prevention. Jeff Owen, greetings from Cape Town this morning as well. And Deborah Davies is here as well. Good morning to you all. So just let's finally, before we lose you, to go off to help people via TuaSaúde and all the wonderful work that you guys do, can we go through those criteria again? So you need a native French speaker and a native English speaker to join the team, right? But what else do they need to do to qualify to get a chance of an interview?
They need to be healthcare professionals. Nurses, medical doctors, pharmacists, nutritionists, physiotherapists, any type of job that is healthcare related. We are also trying to find someone that can understand Portuguese, because they'll have to translate from the original version Portuguese, and they also will have to work with us, with lots of people that do not speak English as well as they wanted to, like me, but that's another thing. And then we need someone to work with us personally. Also, in the office in Vila Nova de Gaia near Porto, right on the other side of the Douro River. So that's the four criteria that we have for these vacancies.
There you go. So tuasaúde.com, and it's all in English there, and they are expanding their reach to help people from a well-being preventive.
I can leave you, Carl, with sorry, I'm interrupting you. I can leave you with the links if you want to put in the description for the vacancies. So
please.
They are in Portuguese. That is the first test for everyone trying to apply.
Yes. Well, but I can sort the men from the boys.
I can leave. Yeah, exactly. I can leave you with those links, and you can put it on the description, so everyone can find them.
I'd be delighted to do that. So wishing you all the best. It's so important that we boost our well-being, that we take responsibility for our health. I think so many people have found that in this last year or so. We were caught unawares, really, weren't we? And there is so much more we can do for ourselves. And you're doing a fantastic job. And thank you for joining us. Good luck with filling those vacancies.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for this opportunity.
Not at all. Love to Tatiana. Take care. Ciao, ciao.
Okay. Thank you. Ciao.
Gotcha. There goes Manuel Reyes there. So the link, he's going to send me the link to the jobs. If that's for you, what a wonderful opportunity to come and work in I was going to call it sort of natural and complementary health. It's a holistic health approach. Let's call it that. A holistic health approach where obviously you're augmenting the state health provision and pharmaceuticals with a bit of personal responsibility as well. Really like the sound of what they're doing. They are Tua Saúde. Let's have another quick look at their website there. And as you would expect, someone feeling a little bit poorly on the first page there. But it's like a health Google, really. And just simply asking the question, what do you need to know? And you can get to, shall I do my, I was thinking to myself, ahead of my birthday tomorrow, it's going to be an intense year for me. And purposefully so. I'm going to do a kind of New Year resolution, birthday based rather than New Year based. And I wanted to go into it with some big changes, actually, that are going to be positive and useful. I mean, did you see Gilda's face yesterday? Do excuse me. I've got to make that little segment of when I told Gilda yesterday that I was giving up alcohol for a year. You should have seen her face. And then someone sent me a comment later on saying, I actually spat my dinner over my computer when I saw Gilda's face when you said you were going to give up drinking. Gilda was like, what? Why would you do that? I'm not sure that's good for your health. I mean, I've got no problem with drinking. If anyone wants to drink, go ahead. And obviously, like all things, best done in moderation. But that was a classic moment. And I'm thinking, yes, do I do my BMI calculation live on air now? You can do this on the TuaSaúde site, which I'm sharing with you again now. Dare I do this? I don't know what my height is in meters, and I don't know what I am in kilograms. And I would put myself as moderate rather than sedentary or intense, maybe more intense in this next year to come. But these are all the sorts of things you can do and research on there. Look, the keto diet as well, stress-induced gastritis. If you've got that, you'll know it. Diet H for pylori, that's some sort of infestation, isn't it? Hard lump behind the ear. This is hours of fun, isn't it? So all sorts of things. If you're not feeling the May West, as it were, as Terry Wogan used to say, all sorts of things that you can look up here, but also to take the initiative with your health and invest in your health too, which I think we need to do in these times. So good luck with TuaSaúde filling those vacancies. I do have the links here. Oh, a message from Manuel that he didn't deliver to us while he was here. Let's have a look. What he's, I'm going to just pop this straight in. I forgot to tell everyone that we reach more than 55 million people monthly. I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? Says Manuel from TuaSaúde there, who was our guest. 55 million people every month. If you think that's important, you can use it. Thank you for the opportunity. I do think that's important because, you know, I've variously been involved in natural health over the years. I used to run a natural health centre, and it's kind of a marginal thing, or it feels like it sometimes. It feels like a little bit of an outpost to the side of conventional medicine. But Jeff agreeing, look, website looks great, very helpful. And it's massive. It's massive, serving Portuguese speaking, Spanish speaking, and now English speaking audiences, and possibly French soon too. 105 kilograms, I don't need a calculator to tell me to put the fork down, says Andrew. As a nurse, it's not going to get any easier, that, Andrew. With your honeymoon period here in Portugal. As a nurse, I've always used a holistic approach to the care of my patients. We are all different. Absolutely right. Holistic and individual needs to be the way forward, doesn't it? Rather than one size fits all or one treatment fits all. Lonnie McLaughlin. Hello, Lonnie. Hola, bon dia, alegria from Pennsylvania, US, arriving in Porto on the 15th, thanks to Expats Portugal and your team of experts. How good is that? And Gary saying, sneaky, but it had to be done. You don't need to be sneaky here, Gary. If you want to talk about ivermectin, you go ahead, my friend. Talking about one size not fitting all, that seems to be the way. We need to know about every possible combination, and people can make their minds up, can't they? Carolina is from Villa de Conde. Great show. Thank you. Pleasure, Carolina Kirk. Does that job appeal to you? I'll put the link for the applications as well. Certainly in the comments here, and possibly on the YouTube description, if I remember to do that after the show. Bon dia from a sunny Pavor de Vargem. But seriously, yes, if you are interested in those, just go to their website, TuaSaúde, which I have been putting up inside or on the screen. There we go. Let's do it again. Where are we? TuaSaúde.pt, is it? Let's have a look. I can't find it at the moment. Oh, .com. There you go. They've got it. TuaSaúde.com and /en for the English version. Let me paste it up now so I don't forget. It's important to do, isn't it? For the English one, I'm going to do for now, because there may be French speakers here, but definitely the more likely is going to be an English speaker who might be up for that job. And being based in Porto, Villa de Gaia Nova, is it called? Certainly near Porto anyway. What a lovely opportunity to come and get a new job in Portugal, working in such a fantastic area. So an area of life, that is, as well as a geographical area. So let me put that on the screen for you. There's the link if you want to cut and paste that and pursue that job opportunity. Great pleasure to be sharing job opportunities here on Consumer Tuesday. on Good Morning Portugal. Many thanks to Manuel and to Tatiana, who initiated this whole possibility of Manuel being here this morning and a chance to talk about Tua Saúde. The other consumer aspect that I want to go into this morning, let's make sure I've covered all your comments this morning. Is there something the Portuguese people love to talk about? Oh, is their health? As they grow older, they refine the skill. Yeah, I saw a massive queue yesterday of people outside the hospital waiting for the vaccinations, and I do notice that the health centres, the Centro de Saúde in Portugal, it is quite a lifestyle thing, isn't it? Going along and getting your checkup and getting your meds and everything. And there's a pharmacy in every village in Portugal, I would say. £232, says Andrew Gilchrist with a tear in his eye. You don't strike me as somebody who ate all the pies, Andrew, but no judgment here. You know what you need to do. Bon dia a todos from George. Morning all from Nigel Henry. Hey, good morning, Nigel. Great to have your company last Friday. Yes, the job does look interesting. I might consider that. Thanks. Absolute pleasure, Carolina Cook. Tell them where you came from. If and when you go for it. Isn't that lovely? If we can fulfill that vacancy there, that'll be really wonderful. We'll feel proud of ourselves to have helped with that. Okay, Consumer Tuesday. Let's talk about coach travel now. I returned my hire car yesterday because it's become very expensive. In many ways, I was hoping for a bit of a pandemic a benefit, side effect, a positive one of a car hire being kept low, the charges being kept down by the lack of demand, because we're told, aren't we, in economics, it's all about supply and demand. And I thought with the lack of demand, the supply would be, the supply would be good value, would remain good value. And I pay about €70 on a good week to have a brand new car. When I love it, because there's no other costs apart from fuel in that. And I'm with the company I use, I'm able to renew. And then suddenly the summer comes on and it becomes quite expensive, and it gets even more expensive. And it became ridiculously expensive, and I decided to take the car back. And the reason for that, before I get on to coach travel, is because what seems to the business model of, do you know what the business model of car hire is? And correct me if I'm wrong, if I've got this wrong, because some of the, those sort of nerdier people who know about everything will know how this works. And you could be forgiven for thinking the way car hire works is that it's all about insurance, isn't it? So whilst sometimes you can get a real bargain in Portugal or, in a lot of travel destinations, you are topping it up, or the companies are making money out of you by getting you to invest in the doom and gloom insurance. So you know how it is. You arrive in Portugal, and you might be a little bit tired after the flight, and then somebody will say, "Yes, that's just 50 cents for the week for your car hire. Here's your kit." You go, "Wow, that's such a bargain. Thank you very much." Joking, by the way. I mean, but it is very, very infeasibly low, isn't it? You think, how do they make any money at all if they're charging me €3 a day for the use of this car? And then you think, okay, this is how they make their money, because suddenly this person will say, oh, before I give you the keys, can I interest you in the insurance? Because if you do scratch this car, there's an excess of £3 million. And if there's a chip on the windscreen, that's going to cost you another €5 million. And then you're terrorized into thinking, oh, maybe I should get the insurance. While all you want to do is get your stuff in the car and go to the beach or whatever. You're thinking, yikes. If I do have a bit of a prang here, this is going to max out my credit card, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. I've given them my credit card. Are they going to take €2,500 off there the moment I get a scratch on the windscreen or the body of the car? So you could be forgiven for thinking, couldn't you, that the way the car hire model works is all the insurance premiums that they encourage you to invest in. Well, it could be partly that. But as I understand it, what the car hire companies do is that they actually take cars from the manufacturers, and the car hire is a way of putting miles on them before they're resold later on. So they're not allowed to compete, obviously, with the they take the cars at a cheaper rate from the car manufacturers, as I understand it. And as I say, happy to be corrected on this. This is what I've been told. So yes, they're taking the cars at a very discounted rate from the manufacturers, and then they're putting miles on them. and making a little bit from car hire and possibly the premiums, and then they sell them after that. And that's how the business model works. So what you're doing is you're, rather than them sitting on a car lot somewhere, awaiting depreciation or the rest of the market to catch up, if you like, and these car hire companies or car buying companies aren't allowed to sell them yet, they hire them out to the likes of you and me. But what I found, to my chagrin, if I chuck a bit of French in there, is that they're not buying as many cars. They've foreseen the way that this is work. Have I got? Looks like I have got it wrong, according to Joel. It's the hand, it's the face palm. Am I talking nonsense this morning, Joel? Do tell me. They're not buying as many cars, so they managed to keep the price of a car hire way up there to suit the summer visitors or those who have managed to get here. So very expensive at the moment. Long story short, took my car back. I needed to get back to the hills of Caldas from where I'm broadcasting. I was going to choose either train or coach. And I thought to myself, okay, what I'll do is I'll make a little bit of a travel log here. Look at this, coach travel in Portugal. There we go. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about my experience. So the first thing I need to tell you is I'm returning my car to the wonderful Orient station complex. I mean, this is one of this amazing place is Orient. Look at this. This is an idea of what the architecture is like. It's a station, it's a bus station, it's a metro station, and it's a shopping center. Indeed, the Vasco da Gama. Sorry about the quality of the photos yesterday. It was a bit of a grey day, and I was taking these on Facebook. I do this thing where if I run out of space on my camera, on my phone, which we often do, right? If we're not very disciplined about downloading them, it just maxes out and it tells you, oh no, there is, there's no space on your phone. And so my cheeky little cheat there is to take the photo on Facebook instead and use the Facebook servers. But the quality is not as good as you can see there. But this is where I was going to say stranded. Stranded is a bit of an overstatement. But what happened was when I returned my car at lunchtime, well, the first thing I did, obviously, if I'm in the Vasco da Gama shopping center, is go to my favorite place to eat, Portugalia. Tell me, Joel, and other Portuguese people, is this a right place to go? If you're a foreigner, does this truly give you a authentic taste of Portugal? You'll see, if I just come around to the side there, I want to see my own lunch. You can see that there is a piece of chicken there. There's a chicken fillet. And what I love about this, as well as having the chips and the egg and the salad there, and the beer and the chocolate mousse for afters and a token to go and get my coffee thereafter, all for about €8, there is the most delicious, creamy, buttery sauce. And my mouth is watering again just thinking about it. So there I am. While I consider how to get back to Caldas, I'm in the Vasco da Gama shopping center. There's the exterior again with some of the public art. I'm going to show you more of that in just a moment. But I've got to sit down and have lunch. And there's my lunch with that beautiful view over the Park of Nations there, Parque de Nações, with all the flags of the world, the Altis Arena, the place where they have the Web Summit, the aquarium, the science center, all sorts of wonderful things, and that fantastic cable car. And I'm sitting there thinking, right, what do I do? I've got to look on my apps now and see which is the best way to get back to Caldas da Rainha. And the thing about Caldas is it's not on the main railway lines, as in the high-speed ones. And if you take what my old man used to call the Rattler train, which stops at every station, this is what happens actually. And we did this. If you go from San Martinho to Porto to Lisbon, or you come from Lisbon to San Martinho to Porto for the seaside, the journey, I think, is about 3 hours, and it stops at every place. And it's a lovely way, admittedly, to see Portugal and all the the places you wouldn't normally see as you're traveling on the slow train, in quite a small train as well. Incredibly graffitied. They're very artistic, urban-looking trains. The graffiti is very impressive, but it's very, very slow. I think a way of getting around that is to take a fast train from Lisbon to Entroncamento and then cut across. But still, you think you're looking at a couple of hours. So as it turns out, the cheapest way to get from, sorry, not the cheapest. Well, it is the cheapest, but the quickest way to get from Lisbon to Caldas is on one of these, on the coach there. And it's been a long time. And I've never, in nearly 4 years of being in Portugal, I've never been on a coach here. And I thought, okay, I'll try it. Now, coach travel is fascinating, isn't it? It is traditionally the cheapest form of travel wherever you go. You know, the legendary Greyhound buses of America. And I thought, okay, that's what I'll do, because it only takes, as I discovered yesterday, an hour. And no wonder it takes only an hour, because those coach drivers know how to handle these things, don't they? It was, I have to say, in the city, at both ends, you know, coming out of Orient Station, and there I am in front of the coach there, getting on, properly masked, just dropping the mask for the photo, everyone, relax, before I get on there, on the Rede Espresso, isn't that what it's called? The express network of coaches in Portugal. Where was I? I can't remember now, but anyway, I'm looking for the coach station in Orient. Yes, the whole thing about coach stations. What is it about coach stations around the world? They are characterful. Let's say characterful. All of life is there in a coach station. Have you noticed this? You know, from the guy with his bottle of beer in a paper bag, chasing the pigeons away. You know, people asking you for money who obviously genuinely need it. To tourists. You know, tourists on a budget, and tourists not on a budget, because it's clearly the quickest way to get from Lisbon to Caldas. You know, you're going to be hours on the train, or you can be at Orient in the heart of things, and you can find the coach booking station, which actually took a little bit of time to do. It did look a little bit deserted, sort of post-pandemic, I think. There's a kind of haunted feeling, I think, about a lot of public spaces at the moment, because they haven't been used, have they, for months and months to capacity. And obviously some businesses have shut down. So there was a slightly haunted feeling about the part of Orient, the Orient infrastructure there, particularly towards the coach station end, which looked a little bit deserted. And I'm thinking, oh, there's where I can book a ticket to go to Romania from Lisbon. I can go to Spain, but how do I get just an hour up the road to Caldas? And eventually I found the local coach travel company, and went in, and I found out that it was where was I? Lunchtime. Probably had my lunch. It was about 1:30, something like that. 4:30 is the next coach to Caldas. 4:30, got 3 hours to use up. So I thought, okay, well, that's what I'll do. I won't even bother to try and get a train now. I will get the 4:30 coach, 4:30, and I will travel quickly by coach, and I'll go and spend my 3 hours in the Vasco da Gama shopping centre, and walk around the Park of Nations, obviously, as well. So I thought to myself, I could have another one of these lunches and back at the Vasco da Gama centre, or I could have a little wander about. And if you do have a wander about, well, actually, I did go back into the Vasco da Gama centre. I bought myself a Mer de Leite and a bottle of water, and sat there and caught up and did a load of work on my laptop. But I did decide to stretch my legs and go out onto the Park of Nations plaza, Esplanade, whatever you'd call it. It's a beautiful open space where you can see the cable car and all the tourist attractions and everything, and a beautiful line of trees. I don't know, I think there's some kind of pine which are underneath the cable car. It's the most beautiful scene. And this fabulous cat that many of you will have seen if you've been there or in pictures of Portugal. Look at this. This cat is made, it's a huge thing. This is the height of 10 men, I would say, and it's made out of recycled stuff, including wheelie bins. The public art is incredible. I'll show you this exterior of Vasco da Gama Centre. To the left there, another bit, a huge monster of a thing standing astride the pavement there on the cobbles there. Amazing. All the things you can have a wander around and get some fresh air. And while I was sat there, a hawk man, what are they called? A hawketeer. No, what are they called? The men and women who train birds of prey in this way. Hawksters. That's not the right word, is it? But someone will tell me in just a moment. I'll come back to your comments, because I think a few people are talking about coach stations. And there was this guy with what I think is a Harris hawk, as Lee McGrady was saying yesterday, to chase the pigeons away. I did take a picture as well of some pigeons having lunch. It didn't seem to be working terribly well. And fright of my life, when I went to use the facilities, as it were, to spend a penny, the Harris hawk is in there. As Mrs. M said, talking about early birds catching worms. Luckily, it wasn't too early, and no worms were caught in this gentleman's lavatory in the Vasco da Gama shopping centre. But this guy he must have had to abide the call of nature himself, And when I came away from a certain part of the facilities here, this hawk is sat there inside the lavs by the sinks, while this gentleman went away and relieved himself. Perfectly behaved creature, but quite a shock, I'm sure you will agree. And again, not a brilliant photo, but you get the gist of a hawk coming at me in the gentleman's toilet. Anyway, back to coach travel. Let's see what you guys have got to say about coach travel and traveling about Portugal on the coach. Oh, we've got a lot of comments to catch up on here. Excess, yes, insurance excesses. Go back to car hire. Your firstborn and the left kidney. Absolutely right. There are solutions, of course. Supply and demand. Jeff possibly changing my economic theory. It's not demand and supply. It's supply and demand. It sounds similar, says Andrew, to airline travel. Prices rise with demand. I mean, that tends to be how it works, right? But there are other things at play as well. Oh, lots of lovely comments. Hold on a minute. Walking the dog will trim me down. Is it true you've got a Great Dane, Andrew? A huge creature. Muscle weighs more than fat. Yes, you don't want to be getting yourself all buff, do you? And adding weight, obviously. Did you see the post about what's in vaccines? Not anti-vaxxers, you know, I've had mine, but people should know a little bit about what's going into their bodies. Where is that, Gary? Did you send that to me? I'd like to see that, Gary. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to see that? I think there's byproducts from pork farming, old Christmas decorations, and the occasional lead toy. It sounds similar to airline travel. Yes, of course. Let's catch up here. I think Joel is not. I won't comment. Is this about the amount of money I'm paying for car hire? I think you're probably alluding to that, Joel. You're right. Manufacturers love fleet registrations for volume, market share. Oh, I see. The Channel Islands famously have more cars per square meter than anywhere else in Europe. Oh, I see. So the manufacturers want to get them sold to dominate market share, and the fleet buyers. Okay, got it. That's great. That's another bit of info for there. This has gone on for many years. It keeps the car sale figures higher. That's why they get the discount. Okay, very good. Yeah, registration of the overproduction. Very good. You see, the men know about these things, don't they? Nigel, certain kinds of men know about these things. The big banks purchase a huge amount of cars and sell them to hire companies. All of this going on behind the scenes. We thought it was a simple matter, but there's all of this in the world of big economics and big business. I love Portugalia in the Vasco da Gama. We'll have to meet there. And I've got a little question for you. You obviously use the place. Why is there always the smell of wacky backy and the devil's lettuce up on that floor? I just thought there were people having a cheeky reefer up there on that. Is it the second floor of the Vasco da Gama Centre, or is it that kind of grass that they're growing up there that it just smells like? The only other smell I could compare it to is the Notting Hill Festival, Andrew. What is it up there? Have you noticed that? And try the camarão abrage. I will, because they do the old porridgey thing as well, don't they? What's that called with the rice? A sorda. They do a camarão a sorda, don't they, in there? So you approve anyway. That's good to know. The only Portugalia I know closed in Porto, so not popular among the Portuans. I had a friend of mine that worked there. Okay, so would you approve or not? You're not really saying, Joel. I love it in there, but am I? Is it like having a chicken tikka masala? Not really Indian, you know? Is Portugalia aimed at tourists, or is it authentic Portuguese food? That's what I'm trying to find out. Elra says, Carl, I would say yes. When we have foreign friends visiting Portugal, we take them to Portugalia. Okay, good. I feel affirmed by that. We'll get back to coach travel in a minute. I was expecting this morning's show to be live from a coach that you got at 6 this morning, as that was the first one you could get. Well, I thought that was going to happen, actually, because when I checked my when I checked the trains, it said the first one was 6:30, and I did have visions of maybe doing an all-nighter in the Vasco da Gama Centre or nearby. I could have come and seen Andy, couldn't I? My first job was with Ford, says Andrew. We had to go to Heathrow to collect 3-month-old ex-Channel Island cars, most with sub 500 miles. What interesting jobs people have. I remember it well, says Nigel. But a tip for good restaurants in Portugal: if it has wine casks as decoration near the entrance, it has very likely good food in there. Okay, thank you. The old wine cask tip there. Bear that in mind, everybody. Write that down. The Reda Express is brilliant, especially if you need to go to the airport just to get a taxi from Seterio station, about €8. Okay. So what if you need to go to, so, oh, okay. So €8 to travel. I mean, that's what mine was. I think mine was €8.70 to travel from Lisboa to Caldas. Is that for you as well? €8 to get back up to Tamar. If you go to the airport, and then Sete Rios station, and then a bus from there at €8, Gary, is that what's going on there? Thanks for sharing this, Carl. This is great info. It's a pleasure. It's exactly what I thought yesterday. I've not been on a coach before. Let me do it and let's tell everyone about it. And I may turn it into a feature-length YouTube as well. Car hire starts cheap, then they want to sell extra bump-free insurance. Yeah, there you go. Then they want to charge you if you're going out of Portugal. Plus, they charge a minimum of €25 for motorways, and none is necessary. So there you go. There's a man who knows. Is Paul? Yeah, it does give you a great sense of satisfaction to walk away from a car hire place, doesn't it? Without having paid for any extras. You said it was £3.50 a day, and that's what I'm paying. I love traveling by coach anywhere. We have taken this service from Orient to Caldas and found it to be a very good service. You get to see much more. You do, don't you? It's a nice drive on the AA. I mean, did you find it a bit white knuckle like I did? I was honestly feel a bit nauseous by the time I got home, but that's because I was trying to use a laptop whilst sitting on a coach. My own silly fault. But I mean, these guys, they know how to throw those coaches about, don't they? And that getting into the aperture of the coach station at Caldas, Jacqueline, how do they do that? And they do it all day long, these coach drivers. You're thinking, why don't they just extend the opening of this bus station? This is madness. You know, you can barely get a euro note either side of the coach and the entrance. It's amazing, the skill of those drivers. Anyway, I'll come back to a bit more about the journey in a moment after your wonderful comments here. Cheap option, borrow a car as you'll be insured already. It is, isn't it? And Portuguese people are very generous with their cars. So many people here in Portugal have said, would you like to use my car? And you're thinking, that's really a very generous offer. Aren't they worried, about insurance or having to ring their insurance company up? How it works in Portugal, it would seem, is that they are insured to let other people use their cars. It's fantastic. Carl, I'm 5 minutes from Expo. It's where we shop. Nice. What a great place to be. And Falconer, of course, not a Hawkster or a Hawketeer. Thank you, Jackie Strick. Jackie's one of those people who watches and listens, and then eventually, because of my ignorance, has to comment to put everyone out of their misery. Thank you for that, Jackie Strick. Falconer, of course it is. And would you recognize that as a Harris? Do you know something about these things? Cheap option, get a Portuguese friend. Yeah, they'll be delighted to take a holiday with you and drive you around. There you go. Falconer, that's it. It's coming in now. Falconers, thank you. Oh, Donna McLaughlin is here. Hello, Donna. And Elra, didn't you go to the Oceanaria? I have been there. A friend of mine came over from Australia. Isn't it fantastic, Elra? Really enjoyed taking my friend Johnny and his partner there. It was great, and the kids loved it. Let's face it, bon dia todos from Virginia. Carl, you had quite the adventure. The hawk in the loo would have freaked me out as well, but I assumed it was safe. And it turned out okay in the end. I think the people who look and train birds of falconers don't know the name in Portuguese. So there you go. Let's trade up on that. Anyone who can speak Portuguese, let us know what falconer is in Portuguese. Learning all the time. What was the coach journey cost? Yeah, I've got my ticket somewhere. No, Leroy Merlin. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Rede Expressos. I can tell you right now, €8.70 it was. Yeah, and the journey time, as it turned out, I've got any more photos to show you, but €8.70 was the cost from Orient. Where there's so much to do, because I'm thinking, it's a great journey the other way. If I take the kids on the coach and go to Orient, there's so much to do all day long there. We wouldn't have to go anywhere else in Lisbon. Have I got any more photographs to show you of this? We've done the Falcon in the toilet, which sounds like a David Bowie album, doesn't it? From the 1980s. Oh, there's the Rede Expressos internet on the coach. They had internet. It was air conditioned. It had polarized windows. It was a Mercedes coach. No rubbish. It was really good quality coach. Social distancing on the coaches still. Plenty of room. I think there were maybe 12 or 15 people on the coach. So it was really spacious. No problem. Let's see what other pictures have I got to show you. I think I've got the pictures now of me arriving back in Caldas, actually, just to conclude this. But it was really good. There's the coach once more, as you can see there. There's me about to get onto it. And coming back into Caldash, of course, there's the coach station, which is a beautiful, what is that, like a deco building, isn't it? With a fabulous frieze there in the bottom right-hand corner, which again, so apologies for the photographs. They're not good. They're not up to my usual standard, I have to say, but I had to use Facebook to take them because my memory was full. And then, of course, the street art of Caldash. Look at that, everybody. The street art of Caldash that welcomes you as you come out. Oh, and just actually to add to that, I'm looking for the coach station's taxi rank. Couldn't see one, and there may well be one. Often it's user error with me. I'm looking too hard sometimes and get a bit panicky. So instead of just sort of staying calm and thinking, because I had to get back, I got into the coach station at. Just what would it have been, like 4:30 to 5:30 journey time from Lisbon to Caldash. That is, I mean, we're talking about 80 kilometers there. I mean, that's good going, isn't it? I've got a telephone-based meeting at 6 o'clock, so I need to get up into the hills of Caldash promptly. And I'm looking for the taxi rank, and I think I know if I go to the Praça de Frutas, the marketplace that some of you will know from pictures. Terrible photo again, but there it is, Praça de Taxis. And there they are, a whole line of the fantastic taxis that you have in Portugal, the green and black taxis of Portugal. First cab, can you take me home? Yes, I can. And a journey that's got, I think, a 25 minute journey. What was it? 15 kilometers, €8 and 35 cents or something like that. So you've got to give the man a tenner, haven't you? And the tip I would give is when you get a taxi and you've enjoyed the service, tem cartão? Have you got a card? Please, can I have your card with your number? And then you'll have the number to ring that person whenever you need them again. That's my top tip with taxis. And I think good taxi drivers are worth their weight. And because if you ring them up and they're not working, they'll often be able to give you a friend's number who is working, because they'll know who's on and off on the shifts, and be able to help you out in that way. So there you go. That's me coach journey. One more time, from Orient to Caldash, and as Gary seems to be saying, good value and similar experience around the country. Anybody else with any other experiences before I eat fruit live on the show, which I don't know, it feels a little bit wrong in some ways. I mean, do you want to see a grown man wrestling down a fig? It doesn't look so great. I think it's because of the green screen. It doesn't look very appetizing, that, does it? But I can assure you that is going to be delicious. I have a juicy plum here as well, with the aroma of plum. And look, I will even peel a physalis for you. This is all the lovely papery skin of the physalis. Loads of these in the garden at the moment, and these keep well, unlike the plums and the figs. I mean, the figs came off the tree on Sunday, and they're all just turning to liquid. The plums, similarly, they've only got 2 or 3 days. It's going to be plum crumble tonight, plus a few of the firmer ones that are in the fridge now. But these physalis, I think these were picked 2 or 3 weeks ago, and they're still very good. They're with their own little nature's wrapper on them. So I'm going to eat that in a moment as well. If you don't like the sound of food, or what, I mean, that's got to be a pet peeve of some people, isn't it? The view and the sound of people eating food on TV shows can be. I don't like it myself, but it's going to be me who's doing it, so it's not so bad. I'm warning you now. I might do that in just a moment. Occasional lead toy, nothing unusual there. They turn up everywhere, don't they, Joel? Weave the Story says, Bon dia, Carl. Interesting story on your coach bus ride, and would love to say hello for a coffee when you're in Lisbon next time around. Oh, yes, of course. That would be lovely to do that. I'm so often, like on whistle-stop tours doing these things, and I need to get back home. But that is a lovely invitation. I'd love to do that. Weave the Story. Fantastic. Great to hear from you this morning. Carolina, the coach travel looks interesting. I might try that. Love traveling by coach, but never tried it here in Portugal. Easy when you know how. And that's like so many things in life, isn't it? And so many things in Portugal as well. I did get a bit freaked out trying to find the coach booking station. And I was thinking to myself at one point, Carl, people don't use ticket offices anymore. People all use apps, and it's all done on the phone. And when I was getting on the coach, the driver had his own app for booking people on, and everyone was showing QR codes on their phone. I was thinking, oh no, well, maybe there isn't a booking office anymore, but there was. It was just a little bit difficult to find because there's so much going on at Orient. There's signposts everywhere to everything that's going on around there, but none of them said, this way. I mean, obviously with Portuguese as a second language, that was another difficulty as well. But eventually, staying calm and wandering about, I did find the Rede Expresso's coach booking office, and I managed to have a fully Portuguese interaction. I always love to do that whenever possible. Not give in and say fala English, faz favor, no fala Português or fala pouco Português. Managed to do the whole thing. I was so delighted with myself when I said Caldestrena faz favor, and he said 4,5. Now that's a colloquialism, isn't it? 4.5. You're thinking, 4,5, is that €4.5? But I knew it was 4:30. So I was very pleased with myself and I managed to do the whole transaction in Portuguese. I recommend it, Carolina. I really do. Lots of uni students nearby. It is a very studenty area, and the international school, of course, when we talked to Chitra Stern about the international school there, and of course her development that's happening there at the moment. It's all go. Really exciting place to be down in Parque de Nações. The Martinhal residences, of course, that are being developed down there in the Parque de Nações. Off to have a sniff, says Jacqueline CDM. What, of your plums? Or is it something else? It also floods the second-hand car market when they send them to auction, going back to car hire cars. Many of the cars sold are ex-rental. Interesting. And yeah, I know that Frank said to me once, driving it like it's a rental, or drive it like a rental. I mean, that shows the sort of abuse from that saying that car hire cars get. Is it good to buy rental cars? I guess cars are so robust these days and well maintained that it's probably okay. Joe, and then you look at what the British car market looks like, where unsold cars start to rot in old World War II airfields, waiting to either go to the used car market or to crushers. Is that really what happens, that they actually crush them if it's not economically viable? That's disgusting, isn't it? With all the labor intensity and materials and natural resources that have gone in. I hope that doesn't happen, but suspect it does, like the Amazon, scandal recently. Coach fare plus about €8 taxi from the coach station. Oh, okay, gotcha. Being a coach driver, I can confirm that Caldas bus station, it's a tongue twister, everybody. Can you say Caldas bus station? I just managed it. Caldas bus station entrance, Estación, does look a bit tasty. It's incredible, Gary, and I guess that's a rite of passage for any bus driver there. Expat Portugal carpool. Do we need to start our own? Yes. Are you talking about the karaoke thing there, or are we talking about us sharing cars? It would make sense, wouldn't it, to have a carpooling system and a car sharing system? We could manage that. Elra Linda, and there probably is one already. We just don't know about it. Falconero, the Falconer. Thank you, Elra, for that. Falcon. Yes, I knew a man called Rui Falcon. Roy the Falcon, I used to call him, like a gangster name, isn't it? A Falcon in Portuguese. Linda sent you the link for a vaccine on your FB Messenger. I'm not sure if I'm going to terrify people this morning, Gary, with what's in their vaccines. They're just getting over the shock of having them. Did the hawk wash his wingtips after leaving the loo? Yes, any self-respecting and hygiene observing hawk, you would hope would do that, right? But I was not going to suggest it to the falconer there. And yeah, he had a pretty impressive pair of gloves on, which I suppose you have to do. And I'm wondering what I shouldn't say at this point. Remember, if you have only a British license, you can only drive a Harkire, not a friend's with a Portuguese registration number. Okay. If you have only a British license, I tell you what, never mind. You know those lateral thinking puzzles that you used to probably enjoy or be frustrated by as a child or a teenager, a young adult, or even more recently? There are things like this that are lateral thinking conundrums as well, conundra. Remember, if you have only a British license, you can only drive a hire car, okay? Not a friend's with a Portuguese registration number. Okay, so you need to have done that swap. Given that Nigel Henry is here and was talking about his pain on Friday night, this is something we need to get behind. Jerry, while you're there, this whole thing of, has anyone found a way yet to keep both British and or whatever country you hail from, your indigenous license, I'll call it that, your native license and the Portuguese one. They say it's not possible. I hear it's not possible, but I imagine that with these things, there's always a way around it. And it is a bit of a post-Brexit nightmare about the way it's all being handled. But we need to definitely a forum entry on that if we haven't got one already, and maybe to talk to the embassy on that. And yes, Jerry, he flies through the hand dryer. That'd be one way of drying your falcon, so to speak, in the gentleman's lavatory. Falcaria is the skill. I'm waiting for more falcon-based toilet humor to come this way, of course. Is the skill. Oh, falcaria is this. Got to be careful how I say that, haven't I? Is the skill or art of training the birds, and it's not just the UK market. Apparently, with car hire shenanigans, economic shenanigans, we do have lots of manufacturing in the UK. Black and green or puek yellow. Oh, I see. That is the color of taxis. I wonder what Joel was talking about there. Black and green or puke yellow. Yes, it's a very strange color. Is it called puce or tan possibly? Yes, it is like an insipid color of stockings, isn't it? I remember, thank you for that, Joe. I remember getting a coach from Lisbon to Ericeira, which arrived at an abandoned coach park at midnight. Not the best start to a meditation or a mediation. Which was it? Mediation or meditation retreat? I would say the perfect start as well. Don't you think, in an ironic sort of way? So from the Algarve, best way to Santander, coach, plane or train? Quick question there from Nigel. I don't know the answer to that. Wacky Backy. So is it Wacky Backy on the second floor of the Vasco da Gama Centre, the old Devil's Lettuce? They don't crush new cars. They all get registered, even to their own fleets of company cars, says Andrew. Thank you. Thank goodness for that. Nigel Henry, probably cheaper by plane. There you go. Another environmental catastrophe there because of economics. Didn't mean to shout. Great show this morning, Carl. Thank you, from Jacqueline CDM. Expats Portugal. Thank you, Jacqueline. Need to do a negotiation with a car hire firm to get special discounts for premium members. Well, we kind of do. I do like to use Zest and Rent Auto. Shout out to my pals at Rent Auto. That's the best combo, which would gladly point you towards. Zest, a great company. Portuguese insure the car and not the driver. So there you go. That's why. So anyone is insured, different to the UK where the person is insured, and how people, yes, of course, used to insure their kids until that got rumbled. Beige taxis. Beige, that's the word, isn't it? Looking like a British buffet. That's it. The colour of British buffet is the colour of Portuguese taxis. Alvazra means land of the falconer. Of course it does. Isn't this all coming together beautifully? I've got a minute to go before I eat fruit. Carl, it drives me nuts. The license thing and the British license, you can't loan it out. We'll have to check with my insurers. Crazy times, Nigel. Let's see if we can get to the bottom of it. Don't think that is possible, Carl, but my Portuguese license shows my old UK license number on the back. So presumably I could swap back if required. It's the uni students. So it is Wacky Backy. Happy birthday tomorrow, Carl. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. You got this. I wonder what that means. There. And 2 falcons are passing through security, each carrying... Oh, this is a great note to end on before I eat my fruit live on air. 2 falcons are passing through security, each carrying 3 dead squirrels. They weren't allowed to board, though. The airline had a strict limit of 2 carry-ons. Well, there you go, John Rooney. Thank you so much for that. What a fabulous note to end on indeed. Happy 9th birthday, Carl. Well spotted, Andrew. Brilliant, John. Brilliant, Andrew. Time to eat plums, folks. If you join me at home, if you've got a nice glut at the moment, plum first. Should I do it nice and juicy on the microphone? Sorry. Oh, yum. And I'm doing it at the end because it's going to dribble down the microphone. So the sweetest plums ever. I have had that said about me. Here we go. Let's go for the Chinese gooseberry now, the physalis. There's a little bit of a contrast to the sweet there, a little bit of sour now. That is a bit tart. I've had that said about me as well. That is a little bit of a contrast, but beautiful. You're getting the vitamin C there, but look at this. This is what I want to show you now. This is the rudest fruit ever, isn't it? The fig. Did you hear that? Sorry. I mean, this is something else, isn't it? And I am going to slurp out the inside of this fig. Now look away now, or please just, if you don't want to hear or see this, I am giving you ample warning, but I'm going to be finishing this on a high and sweet note today. I'm going in. Oh, my word. Sorry for the snorting and the chewing and the juiciness. But yes, you know what? I think Elle was right. That was especially for you, for the ASMR crowd. Some people, whilst some of us can't bear it to hear and watch people eating, some people actually, what's the word? Not get off on it, but like really relate to it and love it. So I'll do that. Big shout out to the ASMR crew, especially for you. Sorry for anyone. I'm thinking of my mum. My mum would give me a clout around the back of the head for doing this. Yum, yum, yum. Looks like smashed hedgehogs, says Gary. And the end of show fruit tasting, I think, was appreciated by Carolina Kirk. Oh, sensibly now. Not sure your car insurance in Portugal if you loan your car to someone with a UK license. Carl, where's the? I don't know what that means, Joel. And audio files. I wonder. It's a real polarizer, that, isn't it? Noisy eating. So there you go. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope you found something of use there. Don't forget those job vacancies from Manuel. Thank you to Manuel from TuaSaúde and to Tatiana for making that possible. Look forward to being in your company again tomorrow, where, of course, we will be talking to Michael in Madeira. Michael Heron is doing his Ask Anything About Portugal tomorrow from Madeira. Your Babette is a bib. So there you go. Not too bad so far. What I might do is run a bath and just get in there with all the plums and the figs, and I've done with it. And then shower off afterwards. I'll give you a hint. It's that thing you see around babies' necks when they're going to eat. Thanks, everybody. Take care and bye for now. Have a great day. Ciao, ciao. Michael from Madeira tomorrow on Ask Anything About Portugal. Bye-bye. Whoops! Still going at it here.